This is the download for Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Wednesday, June 3rd. First up, Voices of the World Cup. In a new Sounds Profitable thought leadership piece, Sports Social Podcast Network argues that the sound of the 2026 FIFA World Cup is just as likely to come from a podcast as from a sports broadcaster. In the 4 years since the previous World Cup, sports podcasting has grown into more than a complementary format. It is now a, quote, defining part of how fans experience major sporting events, end quote. According to a new release from BBC Studios and NumberEight, a major U.S. hospitality brand saw a 19% overall awareness lift from a World Cup travel podcast campaign developed with BBC Studios, NumberEight, Barometer, and Veritonic. Next up, 10 founders on what they do differently in year one. CoHost and Quill founder and CEO Fatima Zaidi launches a new project by asking 10 founders one question. In this first edition of the project, she asks, if you could go back to year one of your company, what is something you do differently? In addition to comments from founders like Oxford Road's Dan Granger and Sounds Profitable partner Bryan Barletta, Zaidi also weighs in with her own lesson. Build processes before you think you need them. Next up, Backrooms and Obsession are box office hits. What's next for creators in Hollywood? Tubefilter talks about the current Barbenheimer-style phenomenon that is the overnight success of Kane Parsons' Backrooms and the unexpected multi-week growth of Curry Barker's Obsession. The former comes from a 20-year-old YouTube animator, and the latter found viral YouTube fame with an hour-long found footage movie made on an $800 budget. While not all YouTubers can successfully make the jump to a new format, such as Shelby Oaks underperforming, shows that those who do are breaking records. Mark Fishbach's Iron Lung released in hundreds of theaters without a distributor purely off the back of Fishbach leveraging his YouTube fan base to request screenings. Content creators haven't just proven they can produce content effectively at a lower cost, they also have close connections with their audiences that they can leverage to great effect. And for a final top story, The Record, Q1 U.S. audio listening trends. Nielsen's quarterly overview of how U.S. consumers are spending their listening day is now out for Q1 2026. U.S. audio consumers are spending almost 4 hours per day with audio. 82% of their daily ad-supported audio time goes to radio and podcasts, with streaming music getting 16%. Edison Research's share of ear for Q1 2026 reports podcasts make up 30% of daily time spent with ad-supported audio for adults aged 18 to 34. As for the rest of the news, as a leaf blower approaches my window, we gotta get this one done quick. 2 commercial audio bodies, the UK's Radio Centre and Australia's Commercial Radio and Audio, are headed to Cannes this year to share insight proving audio's capabilities with increasing advertising impact. Stream Guys is introducing a new AI ad tagging service that automates identifying and placing ad markers within podcast episodes and archived content. Yesterday's episode of the Global Podscape features Podway CEO Alejo Vargas discussing key takeaways from the podcast show London, why Latin America needs a stronger voice in global podcasting, and the current state of podcasting in Colombia. Ad Results Media has a new blog on the power of forecasting audio performance instead of reacting to campaign performance after the fact. Bethany Clevenstein-Shockey is now SVP Sales Growth at PRX, congratulations, and the New York Times has a review of the new book Sublimation, written by Multitude podcast Wow If True host Isabel J. Kim. You can check out the links to everything I just talked about by clicking the link in your show notes. That will take you to today's episode post on soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version instead. Today's issue was written and produced by myself, Molly DeMillier, Bryan Barletta, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, desperately getting done before the leaf blower comes back, I'm Gavin Gaddis, and I'll see you tomorrow.